Young talk, they'll talk protected. Almost every young you're expected. So tomorrow, best is all. And the ever not child will be to crying. 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 Yeah, crying. Crying. Yeah. Opportunities, well, they're always close. Can't get up once in white collar. If I can't stretch me dollar, later from me crack or smoke me pipe. Santa Claus and there's my pride. Life does break, dignity and pride. Till there's only bitterness left inside. And every day is a hustle. Arguments and circles with muscle. Till you're 6 feet deep by 3 feet wide. Watch. Children, should life keep on drifting? So when they're smoking or sniffing, maybe they're trying to forget this life of misery and regret. No one to come to the rescue except cable tag and Bushu. So they book boxes till they go. The drum voices crying. They should pray.
If you can look as far as I see, within this great land we call TNT, there's birds and bees, rivers and seas, pretty woman bringing man to their knees. Treasures of this blessed land we always neglect like nice so handcraft. I find it so strange the way we arrange. Still this nation don't know how to change. To some change might just mean a new government. Could mean less than $1. To most change have this nice cent we usually get from the government. You see, change is something we always say, but every time we change things remain the same way. Things keep getting worse and worse, so this is what I propose. Let's change the change for a better nation. Change the change for all foundations. Change the change so that we can say that this nation here came from right down there. I say change the change within the school systems. Stop changing ministers and change what we teach them. But things won't change despite all we do. If change doesn't start with you, yeah.
Master Chiron in charge, boy. If change doesn't start with you, voices from the ghetto. Where we go in Trinidad and Tobago. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was to convince the world that he didn't exist. You ever hear that? The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was to convince the world that he didn't exist. Master Chiron in charge. You hear them songs them singing? The information outside there. We have the information. It's not that we don't know. Calypsonian singing is not just Phillip talking. Everybody know. Everybody know. But the mayor's response was, how dare they? Because of him and Hines, I named this Master Chiron in charge, you know. The mayor said, how dare they? You swear they defiled Paris. You swear they defiled Stockholm. or Venice or some city that the people who live in it think highly of themselves and of their surroundings. How dare they? Today I went to film a live video in the shadow of the cathedral. So I had to call Jason Gordon name, because Jason Gordon have to see what y'all have been going through for months, almost a year, passing his cathedral. He's the Archbishop. He had to know. He said, don't bad talk some shit. Don't bad talk the country. And people tell me, well, I was going to vote for you, but you bad talk the Archbishop. Kiss my half-red bottom. I want to tell you why. I want to have my say, to the point where you are encouraged to have your say, and that you do not ignore the truth out of some misguided loyalty to people who are not loyal to you. The Archbishop not standing up in that cathedral every Sunday and calling on the government to do better by the people. Why? Why is Jason Gordon so quiet, so silent on issues? I have to step over a homeless man in hot sun, broad daylight, in what has to be the busiest part of our city, Independence Square. And he there, beat up on the ground. It's in my video for all of y'all to see. But I went to film what adjective left to describe the incompetence of Rohan Senadan and the ministry of where nothing works? What adjective is left? We in Trinidad and Tobago, all of our drivers could enter an Olympic slalom competition and we get a goal every time, because we drive, dodge. That's how we just drive, dodge, dodge. And you learn as you go, and you hit one, shit, make a note where that is. Drive and dodge, drive and dodge. But this piece of road, 2 lanes wide and about 40 feet long, is pockmarked with massive holes. So it is impossible to dodge. The game you're playing there is pick a hole. People driving, they're pulling left, they're pulling right, they're coming in, going back and going back, and they go back first and then come back. It don't make a difference. It's just which hole you're hitting. But you have to hit between 6 and 10 holes before you enter the city. But the mayor say, how dare they? The Archbishop said, oh, bad talk, the government. So who the ass? The Minister of National Security say, use protocols, use procedures, use the system. The police commissioner said, do better than that. How? What is left for Trinidadians to do? When Massa Charon, who in charge, Jason Gordon and Martinez, talking shit to people who suffering, fed up and frustrated. And if normal people who have a job and a car, some transportation and going about their living, frustrated, you can imagine them poor black children from the beater who life so disposable that you could spray down a car and we go defend it after. Justice, there will be justice. How do you get justice for somebody that you killed? How is McDonald Jacob? Listen, if all they think is because I back in Gary Griffith, don't give Gary the work. Get somebody else, I don't care. But I'm telling you, McDonald Jacob, you see how to say that, and then Gary go call and ring up the phone and ring up the heirs, oh, they have no better option. And I know that, Gary. I know, I understand. But you have to understand, I need to make a point that if they're going to say that the only reason I'm going at McDonald Jacob is because I'm trying to get back to work for you. I'm telling you, McDonald Jacob, the reason you need to fire him is that man unleashed Trinidad and Tobago Police Service to bring in a man, dead or alive, that McDonald Jacob convicted without evidence, without due process. It's what they want, it's what they gonna get. Police went up Rich Plain and kicked down mosque door. Dangerous, dangerous game. Until the public had to choose. Hear me? You put the law-abiding citizen in a position where they had to choose between defending law enforcement and somebody that you say is a gangster, a criminal, and capable of killing a police. But the gangster criminal, what he was saying, had such a ring of truth that we were asking you, lock down Rich Plain, put the army around it, nothing in, nothing out. Do your investigation. Take it to the forensic science. Determine which bullet killed PC Gilks. And then, if it's his, unleash hell. But you unleashed hell and you were wrong. And it was a police bullet that killed him. The truth was when he said, hey, Oli hit me. That was the truth. And Oli was going to kill that fella. Now, I'm not defending him. I don't know his name. I don't know what he's capable of. But I don't think, honestly, in this little 2x4 piece of country, this little, when you had to blow up the map to see real countries, Trinidad is disappear. We're so small. We like spit in the sea. We are a dot. We're less than a dot when you blow up the map to see real countries. And in this little 2x4, why police have to be killing people? Why? Why is that our reality? Why do we have one of the highest murder rates in the world? Why? And why are our police kill rates climbing by the day? Why? Is it that we are so frustrated with our failed justice system that the police fed up that they want to go out there and take street justice into their own hands? So hire a government that will fix the justice system. If this Chief Justice don't know his work, hire a government that will fire him and hire a functional Chief Justice. If the Judicial and Legal Service Commission not doing the work, fire all and hire a proper, but put a proper system in place. Our justice system has no controls. There is no reporting structure. There is nobody to complain to. You can do what you want. Judges can do what they want. There is no system in place to protect the public. The country is falling apart because the country was set up like crap. Eric Williams didn't know what he was doing. He was surrounded by a bunch of criminal bandits who was only interested in thief and money. So they set up a country that don't make sense. When Pandey walking through the country, shaking his three chicken leg and saying constitutional reform, constitutional reform, I want to shake my three chicken leg back and say, why you didn't reform when you was in the NAR? When it was 33-3? When you and Robbie was so interested in talking about Une of Ife and you taking your Indians and go and dividing the country racially, why two big flicking men couldn't sit all your ass down and sort it out in the best interest of the country and do the constitutional reform that we needed in 1986? Why you didn't do that, Pandy? You end up back in government. You end up as prime minister in your own accord. Why didn't do it then? Why that didn't be the sum total of your government? Why was golf? What it is with these little freaking children, Rowley, Manning. Manning had to go chasing after this serious skirt, want to build she a house in the bush for he and her to love up. Why it is we have only elected shithounds to government? Why? Why is it? Today I read in the papers, this fellow Rambali said the Attorney General have no moral authority. Said the UNC have not either. And Rambali, you just come and you already have no authority, no moral authority. You know why? Because as a big man, you know, Kamala use her. Kamala like a suck out old orange and a fling on the ground. She frail, she feeble, she reading and she can't understand what she reading. She talking about Rowley mental illness. What about hers? It is time for these old people to step back. Listen, old people telling me to say that. Tell them it's sit down time. You writing laws in a country you're not going and live in. Let the people who will suffer or enjoy the benefits or the consequences of what the parliament do write the laws. Why it is this Geritol crew, Rowley, we don't know if they lock him up in America or if he went and had open heart surgery. We don't know. It's a shit show and it's easy to hide the shit. And that's the PNM for you. Hide the shit and distract them. Let's come back. All right. Masks. They talk about masks. No masks. You have to stop wearing your mask. Because you don't want to talk about Rowley. But Rowley in that press conference, referring to 15 years ago, when a man take a picture of him behind bars, but the bars was bars for carnival. He's still vexed about that. He's still toting. But what happened to him in America that bring that to front? Because he talking shit for the past 7 years minimum, and he hasn't brought up that. But now he bring it up. Something happened in America. He different. He different. And these two parties, the PNM and the UNC, scared to death of a government, not Robinson and them who come to stunt. You see a government that come to office to open and examine all of it. Take a look into all of the decisions that were made, my lord. All of it. You see people who come in there to look and see and pull a string and pull a thread because they do a small, tiny investigation into Wassa, and Duke wife name call and Rowley family name call and all of these people string and pulling out string and it's only pulling out big names. How you get this contract, how you have that work. They're afraid a real government. They're afraid it bad. And the best thing to happen to them is for Gary to go back as commissioner of police. The best thing. Because they're worried. They're worried. You know why they're worried? Gary numbers big and Phillip numbers big. And they need Phillip and Gary to not walk in the same line. Because every single Trinidadian know. Even Nacta, this fella, whoever, Henry, Paul, all of these people, they know that if Phillip and Gary join forces, it will suck the oxygen away from the PNM and the UNC. Members of Parliament will jump ship and join us because they'll know that we will win, and we will win convincingly. And that's what I'm telling Gary. We will destroy, and this is what the country needs. The country needs young, strong, courageous lions to destroy politically Balize and Rienzi. It needs to end. The culture of who thief more have to done. The idea of a lesser evil could be anything but evil have to done. And the only people to do it is Phillip and Gary. Forget everybody else. You could keep Duke, you could keep Michaela, you could keep Abdullah. Let them form a new party. All of them. Phillip and Gary stand up together. The country will stand up with them. And you watch it. And you could be the most rabid UNC sycophant. You know your whole family rushing past here to register. You know that. You could be the most, you could have a Balize plant growing in your navel. You know, if Phillip and Gary join forces, the whole country gone that direction. So they need to tease and play him. The country, on one hand, desperate for a law enforcement officer who can pull it back together. McDonald Jacobs is like Stephen Williams, part 2. 2.0. The nothingness we had for Stephen, we have again with McDonald Jacob. 2.0. You see, and a man put out a video today saying sorry to Gary because Gary just talk plenty and he arrogant. And it's easy to find flaws. It's easy to find flaws with people who putting aside their personal life, who in their 50s, Gary's a little older than me, putting aside their retirement. You know, buy yourself a yacht, go and sail through the Mediterranean, take your family to see the Arctic, turn your back on the shit show. When you have men like Gary and myself that have the potential, the capability, the courage, the passion, the patriotism, and we're willing to sacrifice, because I want to tell you this, the years that you give up, the years that you give up in national service, you don't get it back. It's lost years. To come and do this video tonight, Bella telling me, don't do no video tonight, Daddy. And it just pulled my heart, and I made a commitment of doing this video. By the time I'm done, she's sleeping. And I know, because Joshua grew up, and I was fighting politics, and he grew up, and there were years that I lost. And it's so much sacrifice. Gary could tell you how much sacrifice, every decent man and woman who willing to sacrifice. You see, it's so easy to get in the criminal parties. When you're bright and you're capable, you just have to say, I'm ready to come over to the dark side. And they'll negotiate for you. They'll negotiate with you. Give you a couple million to start, we put some away for you, and you can take this ministry, and I'll give you these 12 boards for your people. We ain't watching. That's how they move. That's how the country run now. And everybody know. Now, I can't open the DPP head. I can't open the Chief Justice head. I can't open the Commissioner of Police head. I can't open the head and show you what they know. But you have to be a fool to not know. Because this is how the country run. This is how the country run. And I keep asking, how is it that it is only little black children could get locked up and made jail in Trinidad, when all of the theft, they not involved in? Them is Saul Prune and Sneakers thief. Them not involved in the real crime in Trinidad and Tobago. If we were going after the real criminals in the country, we would go after the people who are depleting poor people bank balances for fees and charges, even when there is no activity on the account. You see, on the account. You see that? That is an act of a criminal mastermind. And the entire banking underworld that would do that to poor people in a country where holding on is a skill that you teach your children. If you're growing up in the ghetto, you have to learn how to hold on. You're going to reach for something, don't let go with the other hand, because you could fall. The mayor of Port of Spain, forget that to drive into Port of Spain, you have to pass through the largest ghetto in the Caribbean. You have to pass between the largest ghetto in the Caribbean and our dump. That's what you drive past. How dare they? Our capital city smells of piss. It reeks of shit. It is decayed, dilapidated, and dumbed down. So certain people with deep pockets and long vision and big plan for Port of Spain could buy it up for cheap. Tell me when I lie there, I will take it back. Driving through Port of Spain on the corner of Nelson Street, First Citizens Bank. Do you all know that in 1972, a bank was created called the Workers' Bank for poor people? Now, I read this. Here where I did. I didn't read this in the Bomb. I didn't read this in the Mirror. I didn't read this in the Newsday, in the Heat, the Blast. I didn't read it in the Express. I didn't read it in the Guardian. I didn't even read it in the National Enquirer. I read what I am about to tell you in the New York Times. In 1972, a bank was opened in Trinidad and Tobago called Workers' Bank. And all of the workers took all of their money out of Barclays Bank, Royal Bank of Canada, Bank of Nova Scotia, Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce, and put their money in the Workers' Bank. And those 4 foreign banks almost closed down. And then the National Commercial Bank was established, which merged with the Workers' Bank to become First Citizens Bank. But they allowed machinations, they allowed laws to be written, they allowed rules to undermine and force and create the Workers' Bank. The existence of the Workers' Bank, and I've tried to explain this to poor people in this country all the time. It is all your money that is uphold the economy, not the rich people. We don't need to count Sabga and Sinanan money. We don't need to count Chin money. It is the mass of poor Trinbagonians have Sabga and Chin in business. They will tell you. They will tell you that's the business they're in. They're in the business of retailing to your labor. And it is your consumption and your labor that upholds this whole economy of Trinidad and Tobago. And it is why Clico had to bust, because Clico was a black insurance company that was created. Colonial Life Insurance Company of Trinidad and Tobago was created and started by a black man for black people and was selling insurance for pennies and grew into a monster that the other traditional, well-established, foreign-rooted insurance companies couldn't compete with. It needed to go. It needed to go away so that Guardian Life and Sagicor could look like they big. But Guardian Life and Sagicor were saplings in the shade of Colonial Life. The history of Trinidad and Tobago, Colonial Life gets so big, it was buying Republic Bank. It was buying it. In a board meeting where the takeover was being executed, the chairman of the bank pulled the fire alarm, turned on the sprinklers and evacuated the building. That was the only play he had left. That is how powerful Colonial Life had become. Trinidad and Tobago and the poor people who burn in tires, I want to tell all you with all due respect, you're stupid. If you only knew your power, if you only knew the power that you wield, you would laugh when you hear men like, whoever it is, they tell me it's not Mario Sabgan, it's not Peter George. I know which one of them talk this piece of shit for Anthony Boudin. Say, we are only 5,000. We're the smallest, but we're the most powerful. And I said, as a half Syrian, as the biggest piece of shit I ever hear anybody say. Nonsense. Because Amalgamated Security right now is the biggest security firm possibly in the Caribbean. And if all the poor suffering people who take that work could find a way to stand down, 3 fellas named Abood with dog and baton is not a security company. Mario Sabga Abood is the Starbucks of the Caribbean. He said he built 120 in 10 years. But if it's not for the poor, suffering people who flipping them burgers and pouring that coffee in that cup, he doing it himself. He and he churn, hey, bring a pizza, we have an order. And the people on the other side of that counter, it's not the customers that go in by Adams. It's not the customers that go in by Buzo. It's not the customers that go in Trotters. The people on the other side of that counter that gave you your power, if they stopped buying from you tomorrow, all your business closed down. All. If they started to decide, you know what? I will, for the next 6 months of my life, I will stop on the side of the road and buy coconut bake that make home with chow mein and fried chicken. I will stop trying to play foreign. And I will eat local. And the closest to local I could get is them kind of thing. Because I'm telling you, I was a salesman on the road, straight out of school. First 5 years after school, I was a van salesman. I was on a truck. I used to sell for holiday foods when Gonzalez used to own it. And I was a sales supervisor for Quelo's baking industry in where Kiss is now. So I can tell you how I know the things that I know. Because I know it from being in it, on the ground and in the road. I tell you, as a salesman, stopping and buying a hops and stew beef and knowing where to get the best aloo pie and chana, all you hear me, you know? Because you see, you can't get US to go online and buy yourself the latest Michael Jordans, if that's still a thing. Because you're spending your money in KFC. And every month, Mute have to send foreign exchange to KFC for the brand and for the 11 herbs and spices. You're cutting your own throat. You're cutting your own blasted throat. And if poor people in this country could ever, black and Indian, that mass that the Queen exploited, massa, you see that mass of people, the grandchildren of Africa and the grandchildren of India, if that 980,000 people understood their power, you see the coins that they put in the basket in the church upholds the church. The people who sit in the front pew have on the expensive tie and the Bruno Mali shoe, farting through silk. But there, and I tell you, when I've been to funerals and I walk with money for my parents and my sister and me, everybody get $100 to put in the basket because it's a funeral and you're there. But we don't matter. That $500 don't matter because 50 people with a $10 is $500. So we don't matter. And I know that. I understand the mass economics because I was in that business. Holiday foods and sunshine snacks don't make no business for me. It's like when Rowley had sit down in a meeting with Victoria Gardens people years ago when he was just the MP. And they was threatening him. And when they done, he stand up. He said, "Oh, they finished. Victoria Gardens and Westmorelands and Bayshore don't put me in office." He knew. He knew. He don't pander to the people who put him there. He don't pander to the mass of humanity that fed his family for years, but he knows. And somebody in this country has to stand up. You see, coming out of the tire burning, you don't send Massa Charan to lecture them. You don't send Fitzgerald Hines. Fitzgerald Hines is an ass that want to grow up to be a bigger ass. Fitzgerald Hines is a fool. He is a, listen, and I don't want to have to be the one to say that. He could be a nice guy, but he shouldn't be a Minister of National Security. And the only reason he's a Minister of National Security is because in this country, the bar is very low. The bar is very low. So in our parliament, and I realize the reason they spit on each other and fling their feces across the parliament is because we don't have a high standard of parliamentarian to begin with. They don't know how to debate. They don't understand how to debate. The only issues they go to the parliament with is when the people in the secret society meet and tell them, "Hey, control them natives, write this law, write that law, get this done." That's the only things that come into parliament. I asked when they brought the no bail law. I said, "The no bail law? Where are they fixing the economy law? If you fix the economy, you don't need to be talking about crime. These people committing crime because you leave them no choice. There are people in this country who are starting to say my words. Where the money from the pitch lake?" Ask Robert Amar. 20 years I asked him that question. Where the money from the pitch lake? Because it don't show up in the Auditor General report. It don't show up in the budget. We just have a lake asphalt, but we don't know who owned it. I hear people opening their mouths and my words coming out. How does a country that for 50 of its 59 years, of 60 years of existence, exported more than it imported, would have a trade imbalance that reflects in its... People say, the value of your dollar is based on how much you import in jackass. And I want to say, correct. But jackass, it is based more on how much you exported. Because wherever the imbalance is, we export more than we import for a long time before they completely destroy it. So I don't know where we are now. Because when they talk in the parliament, I expect that they are lying to us. So I don't know what is our true position. We just found out, and I've said this for years, that the price that we got for our oil, Guyana telling you, boy, they was rubbing all their chili before the oil leave the pipe. They done rub all there already. And the gas and all the ways they thief and rob and mash up this country. But I have asked, how did you end up with a number like 6-1? How? How's that possible? How is it at all possible? Now, if you stop all of those misuses of foreign exchange, you'd still have a lack of foreign exchange. And the reason we have a lack of foreign exchange is there are people in this country, former members of parliament, current members of parliament, that have vaults in their house full of money, that they have to take out money and convert it to foreign exchange, pounds, US, yen. Get it out. Nobody outside of Trinidad and Tobago wants Trinidad and Tobago currency. It serves no purpose. There's no trade with Trinidad and Tobago where a country, let's say we're doing heavy trade with Brazil. Brazil will take our money because they know they're shipping back to Trinidad and they're buying back from Trinidad. You can use my money then. Nobody does any trade. Patrick Watson said to me on a live video once, he said, Phillip, BP Amoco is Trinidad's lifeline. If that fails or if that goes, we dead. That is our whole economy on one pillar right there. No amount of SM Jalil, coal and Chubby exporting and Universal cereals and peanuts, no amount of that equates to the lifeline. And the day it cut, we dead. I'll tell you why we dead. Because all of the foreign exchange to import all the shit that Hadco and Amco and Massey and the rest of them imported, because we don't grow nothing. Our food comes from abroad. Even the Julie mango that you're sucking, chances are, if you buy it in a grocery store, it came imported from some island outside of Trinidad. Look around. We have no fruit trees anymore. We have no farms. We sell a couple financiers, look 100 acres here, look 100 acres here, and you call it a farm, but you have it as a retail business or a party venue. Sell your farm and you build a mall. Sell your farm, you build a housing project. No food. Go and find food. I talk to the rice farmers. They tell me, Phillip, the government trying to get us to blink and make rice grow right now. It don't work so. Rice cultivation requires massive preparation. Things like irrigation and water. We have nothing in place. And they call in for rice. You call for rice now. The law of the farm is a different law. You can't cram on the last night and pick. Can't. It doesn't work so. The law of the farm requires you to observe all of the cycles and to maintain and to grow it over time. And we are nowhere near in any way prepared to play. And Trinidadians, unfortunately, have bought into the African versus Indian bullshit. So they dilute their common sense and their critical thinking through Kamala mouth and Keith Rowley ass. Those two who can win an election outside of the UNC or the PNM should tell them, you should be able to say, wait, if Kamala can win Superior seat if she not in UNC, if Rowley can win Diego Martin West or any seat if he not in PNM, how do they have power? How? Fellow on Game of Thrones says, power is a trick. It's an illusion. It's a shadow on the wall. Power resides where men thinks it resides. And in the last 6 months, I told my organization that I stop in everything else that I do, and I am going to work like a member of parliament, like a local government councillor, like a prime minister for this country. And I am going to show Trinidad and Tobago the power that an average person, not yet with public office, what could be done. How much could be done. You want to hear the kind of things people has messaged me for? That they have nobody to turn to for? Let me give you some messages. Good night, sir. Let me just wet the throat. I just want you to hear what's pending. What's pending for me to answer. Good night, sir. I have a problem with my NIS. Need help. What could I do? That's pending. Tonight, as a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago, would like to know how much we had to pay for the Prime Minister medical checkup. Even if he paid, what about his entourage? Why not do it here? And nobody for that person to turn to ask that question. Good night, sir. I'm waiting patiently for your visit. I know you have a lot on your hands, and I must say you're doing a fantastic job. This is about somebody whose drain is collapsing. Good night, sir. I have a concern about the Samoa Regional Corporation. I have some tongue and country approved plans submitted to them in Samoa for structural approval. It's been over a year. Can you in any way assist? Nobody for them to turn to. Tongue and country. Tongue and country. And I just want you to hear something. Good night. I really need you to highlight water leak that's been leaking for possibly 10 to 12 years now in Pointe-à-Pierre, just by Flower Pot Beach. Now I want you to watch this. How much of these are going to read? This guy Sheldon Khan took me down San Fernando to highlight the unfinished highway. And since then, they're working. And he's sending me pictures. He said, I see them busy doing road repairs this week. Apparently, the video have them under pressure. I even see them have a meeting on the highway today. Thanks, Mr. Phillip. Thanks. Roadworks busy this week. You had them busy trying to do something to save their reputation. Thank you, Mr. Phillip. I give in here. I give in here. And I'll come back to what I'm telling you. This was deliberate. This was a deliberate plan. I want you all to know. I want you to see. And then decide. Good night, Mr. Phillip. I'm currently self-employed, and I've been trying to get a loan in the bank, and due to my boss not paying NIS for me, the bank isn't able to assist me in getting a loan, and I'm really in a lot of something right now. Can you assist me in any way possible? Nobody for them to turn to. Nobody. No minister, no system, nobody. Pleasant good afternoon, Mr. Alexander. I'm seeking some advice from you regarding a matter I'm about to highlight. I'm a private medical facility contracted by the Ministry of Health which provides hemodialysis services to the patients. In doing so for the last 7 years, it has always been a struggle trying to receive payments for services provided. Recently, with Ministry owing us for approximately 2 years and our last payment being received in November last year, it was communicated in my office that they are contacting all patients to verify their treatment info, which I have no objection to, during 2022. And they're calling patients to inquire about sessions received in 2021. Some of these patients are deceased. However, they are stating that we aren't going to be paid for these deceased patients until they decide how to treat with these. Now, I could go on. That person has no body. He owns a hospital. He has nobody to turn to when dealing with this shit snake country. Mr. Phillip, good afternoon. Could you help me out with a warehouse work or a factory work? Do you have any contacts? I really need a work. Please help me out. Kumar. Sir, my name is, I live in Samoa more than 15 years. I've been facing no support from social service. For my mentally disabled mother, she has been abused, raped, bounced down the road like a dog, and was in the care of my 88-year-old grandmother and wicked advantageous aunt that have no empathy and heart for the situation. Presently, I'm overwhelmed with the situation over all them years and still doing my best to hold myself together. My aunt sold my mother and grandmother property, which is 15 acres of land, $1,800,000, and mother isn't seeing a cent. Neither is her sister by mother, not father. Gave my lawyer $8,700 to resolve the situation as my grandmother died last year. She was unenthusiastic to assist, and I asked for her to refund me some so I could find someone else. She boldly told me to come get my files without refund. People have nobody to turn to. Here are the kind of things people come to me with because they have nobody to turn to. Good night, sir. Since Keith Rowley come in government, they cut my grandson disability grant. My daughter only have a parlor That's why they call it, because she can't afford to mind him. Her husband is unemployed. But to me, my grandson is supposed to continue to get it. This is what people message me for. See the shirt, the Citizens Union of Trinidad and Tobago? So we created it to do. To stand up for people. And I just reading, I just scrolling and going. Good evening, Mr. Alexander. Could you please look at these 2 videos? Thanks in advance. Hi, Mr. Alexander. My name is... Before I continue with my request for your help, I just want to compliment you on your bold and fearless spirit and your willingness to help fellow citizens. I'm seeking help for my brother and my sister. It's been almost 3 years that they have filed complaints to WASA about the water supply to their homes. It seems as though the main lines are clogged, choked, which results in no water flowing in their taps. Numerous reports have been made during this time, but to no avail. WASA personnel has promised to address the situation. To this day, it remains the same. Do you think you can assist them? That resolving tomorrow. Guy, good day. Is this Phillip? I need some help, please. Since last year, I tried to get a warrant out, and every time I text them, is one thing over and over. They're telling me, what should I do? There is no part of Trinidad and Tobago. Good morning, Mr. A. Could you please highlight the road between Express House and the Cathedral? It's been months. Keep up the good work, and God bless you and your team. And then 2 hours later, a heartfelt thank you, Mr. A. I can't stress how happy I am you highlighted the issue. When I tell you how those stick when it comes to, when I tell you, you don't stick when it comes to dealing with the issue. It's only action. Good day, sir. Can you enlighten me as to whether or not these daily bridges that are being used to replace broken bridges is owned by TNT government or if it's being rented by from a citizen? Sharing an article with you. To the people who send voice notes, I keep saying I don't do voice notes. Good day, I'm the lady who called a while ago. My name is, due to the heavy rain, my roof is leaking and the ceiling is coming down over my bed. It will cave in anytime. I'm a senior citizen. Just had a hip replacement. I live alone because my husband died about 6 months ago. I'm asking you for some kind of assistance, please, and thanks. Good morning, sir. I see you do great work and help so many people. I'm hoping to be one of them. I have been trying so long to get a new birth certificate for my son, but the appointment date is very long and they're only accepting online appointments. But I need to get through before school closes so that my son can get accepted in government ECC because I can't afford to pay to send him to a private preschool. Any assistance would be greatly appreciated. You're hearing how diverse. Mr. Phillip is going to highlight some issue of the San Fernando licensing office. But more than that, when you do transfers, they do not update the system, lose the documents, and then stress you to find back the previous owner of said vehicle. They inconvenience old people to go out of their way to fix their mistakes. When you go back to ask them it's updated, they rough you up and say they will call you, which they never do. They have this stinkiest attitude. They tell people to go online and book appointments, leaving those unable to, who like elderly and those without internet access, to scamper for help from anyone they could find it from. They are by far the worst licensing office in the country. Infrastructure, service, attitude. Send me pictures of a man. They say this is a man that threatened to kill police. This needs to be investigated to see if it's true or not. Good night, Mr. Alexander. I'm frustrated with the Puna Piarco Regional Corporation and trying to get a cleaner drain. I have made several calls to the corporation and I even reached out to the chairman. He seems to be running me around. I'm hoping that you can help. I'm attaching screenshots of the conversation. There is no photo opportunity in that drain, so Samuel Sanka and Casey Robinson don't give a rat's ass today. The chairman called this morning and said that he will get back to me this evening. Action. Hi, good morning. I would like you to make known, highlight the Legal Affairs Department for the registration of birth, where they tell you you have to make an appointment unable to get the baby birth paper because of the large crowd and gathering. They are still by appointment. And when you go to make the appointment, you're getting the appointment for quite in late October or September while your baby was born in May. So everywhere you go to see about your baby, whether it be hospital or health center, they ask for birth paper. You have to tell them you have an appointment. Meanwhile, they are considering the non-mandatory face masks in public and feds taking place all over. So tell me what's the reason for the appointment then? Because people have to be walking around with their children for all those months without a birth certificate, which is total madness. Phillip Alexander, morning. Our street light was removed about 2 years ago because a new pole was replaced. We were sure it would be up within weeks, but it never came back. Just a set of running around, shaking my head. I live in an area where the need for this light was imminent. They give the light number, the address. Tried quality and tech. Every time it's either it doesn't have to replace or something about the clamp gone, the pole, they don't have to. Up to now, just got tired and stopped. We have somebody working on that. And I just reading these things so that you understand. Hi, good night. My name is, I reside at, with my stepbrother and sister, my common law wife of 13 years and my 4 children. I attended. Then I have no criminal charges against me. I worked at Associates for 15 years, but was dismissed 2 years ago because of COVID. They couldn't pay the full workforce. My wife started to work with CPEP in February. My mother, who was visually impaired, recently passed on in November last year. The apartment that I reside in is on the name of my step siblings. Me, my wife, and kids is asking your help in attaining an apartment of our own in so-and-so building, which has 3 unoccupied apartments, and they give the apartments. Reason for wanting to leave this apartment I grew up in since I was 4 is that my step-siblings are threatening to put us out, stating that it is theirs, they're touching our stuff, and we just want somewhere where we can live comfortably on our own as a family. I'm currently unemployed, but will regain employment soon. Prior to my dismissal, I was in an accident which caused me to lose vision in one of my eyes and is currently awaiting some funds from the insurance company. This is what we get every day. And many people want a job. Many people message me asking to help them get a job. So I met with my team and I asked, could we create a jobs program? Could we create a database of jobs, of people looking for jobs, and make it available to the business community in Trinidad and Tobago, and make it available to the business affiliates, the hundreds of business affiliates, and say, look, these are people looking for jobs, hire here first. They said to me, our staff overworked. We will have to hire interns, and we will have to pay them, and we will have to provide accommodation for them. And they worked it out and they said, we could do it, but we're going to have to charge a registration fee because we're not funded. So we agreed we'll charge $50 to come and register in a program so that now you are registered. We did our research. Any other organization you go to register want either a full month salary or 20% of your first month salary. We say $50. $150 fee, you're in the database. You could be a housekeeper, a carpenter, a mason, a nurse, an engineer, a technician, electrician, plumber, gardener, yard boy, hustler, laborer, welder, whatever, teacher, whatever you are, it will sort by category. So if somebody calls or reaches out and asks for, I'm looking to hire a teacher, we separate all the teachers and send all the contacts. We don't ask for a resume, we send all the contacts to you, to the hirer. So they can say, 10, call all 10. Oh, you already have a job? Okay. Oh, you died? Sorry. Oh, yes, you're interested? Send a resume to this email address. And it will streamline it, and it will make it easy for those looking for a job and those trying to get a job. So when we said $50 registration fee, we thought it was ridiculous. It was pittance for a service that would help. Lo and behold, a PNM shit snake named Rhoda Barrett say that we trying to thief $50. Now, the level of ass that she is shouldn't warrant me calling her name. And after I say her name, I want to go and gargle to get the nastiness out my mouth of trying to answer, because she represents an organization that has enslaved the black mass and made them baton twirlers and French fry packers. And would you like ketchup with that? We offering a service $50 because the people who have to sit down and take your information and make that information available to hirers when they call, they have to be paid also. They confuse these poor people and make them think. So I say, you know what? It shouldn't be enough to chain up people like that. If $50 is too much, you offer a better service for free. Do it. But jackasses like her don't do anything for nobody. She wouldn't spend 5 cents to see her hands dance. She's sitting down there taking in government money to talk shit for PNM, to attack people like me. Now people are signing up in droves because people need jobs. And our people are linking up with other employment seekers and telling them, listen, we have a database, we make it available to you. You could talk to them, if they come in by you, and you want to do your 20% of your month's salary, and they agree that's between you and them. But we will make your name, so we will literally be headhunting you out to people who are looking for. But it is so easy. The PNM so stinking nasty. The narrative so confused and dirty. It is why Morva beat them lab until Ceylon's coconut water hold hard in place. Bagatelle, Rich Plain, Mason, Saganga, La Puerta, Big Yard, Scorpion, Point Kumana, Patna, all of these places. That's just in town. But that is a mass of humanity living subhuman lives. They don't have infrastructure. They don't have anything in place. The vast majority of people who come to me for help have nobody to turn to. You know how much we charge them? Zero. How much we charge? Zero. The only reason for applying a $50 fee to the database. Now a woman named Lily, what's her name? Because she vexed. She messaged me today what Rhoda Barrett saying. I get vexed and I tell her, she forwarded something. I said that woman had to be stupid. The woman say she called and the girl she talked to don't know what she doing. Well, all right. Forget it. If you don't want our service, walk on. Nobody grab you by the scruff of your neck and drag you and say, how to do it. No. You don't want the job. You don't want to do it with us. Walk on. Go your way. Why muddy the water? Why go out of your way to send a forward note to tell people, well, the girl didn't know what she's saying and I didn't know what kind of job you're signing up for. You're not signing up for a job. You are registering yourself in a database for potential hires. That is all. That is the service that we are offering. And to the people who have been confused by that jackass, unconfuse yourself. If you would like to add your name to a database for people who are seeking workers, then come in, there's a $50 registration fee. And you know what we decided? To make a point for those to whom the $50 is a lot and they can't pay it, and Rhoda Barrett and the PNM not offering anything like it. We say, you know what? Tomorrow Thursday and the next day Friday, those 2 days, anybody who come between 10 and 2 could register for free. Frico. Register for free. No registration fee apply. Thursday, Friday. After that, don't bitch, don't complain. Don't say, well, I can't make it Thursday and Friday, I don't have an appointment. If it's important to you, come and use the opportunity. Frico. After that, go and register with Rhoda. See if she will share some of the money she gets from the Ministry of Finance to attack people. Satish wants me to tell you that this Saturday, the 9th of July, the Progressive Empowerment Party has a public meeting in San Fernando at number 3 Sinanan Street, San Fernando. Meeting starts 5 p.m. Say it again. This Saturday, 9th of July, the Progressive Empowerment Party is having a public meeting in San Fernando reminded me that we are working on the renewals, Citizens Union membership. Please, there are people who it is an annual fee to renew. Please don't stick, because when you accessing Citizens Union services, you're going to need that number. And again, if you think that the PNM have a better option for you, go there. We ain't telling everybody to come. But I'm saying this to Trinidad and Tobago. We are the only organization that is unfunded. The UNC gets millions of taxpayers' dollars. The PNM gets millions of taxpayers' dollars. The Progressive Empowerment Party and the Citizens and Union of Trinidad and Tobago is funded by the kindness of its supporters and the people who reach out and say, look, hold at 10,000, you're doing good work, you're helping plenty people, I want to see more like this. That's where we get funding from. And if we have staff, they have to get paid. And it's a business. Those things have to be run like a business, so that there is somebody at the other end of the phone when you call. You see, when the wolf reach your door and you realize that whole PNM full of shit, when the wolf reach your door and you realize the government is crap, when the wolf reach your door and you realize grinning jackasses like Rhoda Barrs and the words that they talk are of no value to you, when you need to reach out to Phillip Alexander and say, I need help, you need to know that there is a mass of strong, committed, courageous, capable people behind me that have to be paid to give up their time to provide that service. All of those messages I just read out to you, that's not even half of 1% of what I get on a daily basis. And I need to forward that to people who can action it and solve problems. So in a little while, I can screenshot and say, look, we solved it. Look, we fixed it. Look, it's done. People who say they give up and they didn't care, and nobody will fix it. Hey, Phillip will fix it. The residents of Blue Range in Diego Martin on their knees in thanks for Phillip Alexander, because they had no water for a week. And when one of our members, his sister, she said she didn't want to reach out because she was feeling bad. She knows how busy I am, and she reached out. I said, never wait again to reach out. You're a member, and our members get frontline service. And I called and I followed through and I found out what the problem is. We resolved the problem, and she just messaged me back. She said, I'm hearing water dripping in my tanks. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And that's what we do. A guy bought something from some people. There was a misunderstanding in the purchase, and when he went back to get his money back from them, wherever the misunderstanding was, they tell him, no, you have no money to give back. Sell it. He gave X. He messaged me. I put it on blast. And within an hour, they contacted him and they agreed to refund. He agreed to take less money. He offered to take less money so that everybody could be happy. They called me and wanted to tell me their side of the story. I said, tell me your side of the story. The fact that you did it so quickly have me impressed. They said, look, this is the business that we're in. I said, no problem. I will do some business with you. And once it's good and it's above board, I will put you on blast for people to know that you are good people to deal with. And I have no problem doing that. Because I want to make sure that at the end of the conversation, the buyer and the seller are happy, and that we facilitated everybody. Because at the end of the day, what you want is government and leadership and representation that leaves nobody behind. We don't want to destroy your business. We just want you to keep your word with these people. If what you sold them is not what they wanted, for whatever reason, undo that deal and go your way. And we committed to everybody. Red, white, black, green, every shade in between. The people who's called me for help is not white people, it's not Chinese people or Syrian people. It is predominantly the grandchildren of Africa and India, who for all the PNM and UNC bullshit for all these years are the mass of people that have been left behind. The other races aren't left behind. The other races have taken advantage of every opportunity to advance themselves, while the grandchildren of India and Africa have been given racist politics to hold and have used that to their disadvantage. So that you believe that a HTC house and a European and a CPEP worker somehow carry you through. But you have children and they have a future too. In a country where the police fed up, the army fed up, Coast Guard fed up, teachers fed up, nurses fed up, public servants fed up. Everybody fed up. Nobody happy. All they bumping into each other in this country and fighting with one another. All they're not vexed with each other, you know. You're vexed with the fact that you live in a shithole. And there are people who tell you, don't call it a shithole. Pretend that it smells like roses. Bullshit. Jason Gordon is a jackass for telling the people of this country, do not talk about what is affecting them. As an archbishop, he should be fired. He should reconsider himself as a priest. Your job is to lead the flock. Your job is to guide them and protect them and to make sure that the systems that exist in this world not advantaging them, to use your education and your experience to give them a light. The whole teaching of Christ. They are the opposite of that. Those words that came out your mouth was the opposite of that, and it disgusted me. And I want you to have the decency to undo that and to call on all of the priests that fall under you to stand up for the people of Trinidad and Tobago and to tell them what is right from what is wrong so that they could make better decisions. If the government wouldn't teach people how to budget and how to spend their money wisely, the church and the temple and the mosque should. There should be people in this country that give enough of a shit of the people who have been disadvantaged and dumbed down for 60 years of PNM and whatever flavor. The people tell you UNC only exists for 30 years. Yeah, but there was a ULF that is the mother and father of the UNC. So Miss Milch bullshit is the same Indo-centric racist nonsense. And don't tell me that UNC only had government for 12 years and PNM had 41. How much years you need to fix it? Look at how much shit we fix without being in government. I tell you this, I am only prepared to give up 5 years of what is left of my life in service. I am not like the rest of these jackasses that need to dead with the boots and the hat on. I want to be lying down in my bed with a pina colada and happiness around me. Well, I tell you, I don't need the accolades. I keep telling people this morning, I stop talking to this boy, Michael Phillips. And we just talking about how when you are an actualized human being and you're living your truth and you're walking your path, how if you are using your advantages to the benefit of others, how fulfilled. I don't understand these money hoarders. I don't understand where their happiness come from. I really don't. And I love this saying, if life blesses you more, don't build a taller wall, build a longer table. That has been my life for a long, long time. I want to say to Trinidad and Tobago, you have every good opportunity right now to walk away from the PNM and the UNC. And the Progressive Empowerment Party has shown you that you could have a political movement that don't take drug money, that don't take political investor money, that will raise money, $50 at a time for a registration fee, that will get involved and open a business to sell lunch and groceries and snacks, and the profit from that go into the coffers to run the party. So at no point, no contractor or no drug trafficker or no money launderer could come to us when we're in government and try to claim, no sir, I will do like Christ and say, get behind me, I don't know you. We have been fixing things on a massive scale, on a national scale. We've embarrassed the opposition. We've embarrassed them. We made them look incompetent, dumb, mute. They tell you they're going in the parliament and the speaker not letting them talk. Well, then don't go in the parliament. Walk on the street. Help the people, represent the people, give the people service, let the people see, let the people know, because they'll tell one another, yeah boy, you don't need to be going in that shit show to talk shit. You can be outside here and giving the people, make sure the schools work, make sure that the roads work, make sure people have water in the tap. People want to be able to afford to live. Organize with me. Let's put together 150, 200, the 58% increase in flour. Let's force them to put back the subsidy on gas, because while the jackasses publishing in the media, there are other countries that have higher price of oil and higher price of flour. They have higher performing economies. We live in a shit show. anybody. It is not fun. It is not simple in Trinidad and Tobago. In Trinidad and Tobago, the politics is the hard part. Fixing it, as I have been shown. It's harder for our children. Time when you will be back to needing people to help you. It comes to all of us. manner of things. Died, and know before they call ambulance for him, they strip him of everything he had and leave him there. And you could think that you have all of the resources have to take care of every single citizen in this country. Come on board with us.
If they cannot work, and you see it so, then your only hope
is for them to go. Somebody just raised this point and I want to say it now. We need billboards. If you own digital billboards anywhere in this country, we have a screen, Phillip will fix it. And that's all I want, is an orange and white screen. If you own digital billboards anywhere and you're willing to make some screen time available, please WhatsApp me on 682-2110. Call me direct, 682-2110. Phillip will fix it, choking them. You know why? Because it's exposing to the people of Trinidad and Tobago that the government and the opposition was telling you lies for all these years. That you didn't have all of the obstacles to progress that they told you that existed, that kept them from serving you, was all lies. And people are waking up and they're telling their neighbor and they're telling their co-worker and they're telling their friend. People tell me in a taxi driving down the road and they're calling your name. They're talking about you. They're saying this man, Phillip Alexander, showing us what the country could have always be. And I want to say to you tonight, I want you to hear me, because all the attacks, we have to just let it fall aside. We can't take it on. I only have to deal with that road about bullshit, because I hate how they enslave minds. I hate how easily they lead people astray based on skin color. I want you to understand, when we step up to do these things, we want the country to see that that is what the country could be like if we had a proper government. This is what it would be like. People that respond when you call and get the stuff done. That's what we could have had all the time. A country where people in government want to deal with the issues of bank fees eating into my money, so I can go back to putting a resting balance and getting interest and growing my money. I can get that again. I can live in a country where the water tank and the water pump could go away. I don't have to pay that piece of electricity, and I don't have to spend the $600 to fill the tank because I have water in the tap 24/7. I can have that country. That if we have potholes in the road and we call the supervisor of public works in the constituency, they have a 24-hour window of time to come and fix it, because that will be the policy of the government. That if they report to the central government that our supervisor of public works not fixing our roads, that person could be fired. I can live in that country where the government understands that jobs is job one, and that every single citizen of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago is entitled to a job. So that once they have a job and they can take care of their family, everybody who have a job or want to own a home should be able to have a home, and that there's a government that's willing to use the resources of the state to reduce the cost of housing and bring in developers to create products in Trinidad and Tobago for our own housing industry, and to utilize the facilities and the spaces and the workers that we have to create first-time home ownership, to compete with the existing banking fraternity and offer a mortgage of zero deposit, zero interest for up to 30 years, up to $1 million for first-time homeowners, to create 150,000 houses in this country in quick time, so that the housing demand would dry up and the price of real estate will come down in line with real wages. We can have that. We can have a government that understands that the justice system and the healthcare system must work to the benefit of the people, because they don't know when you're going to need them, but when you need them, they should be functional. We can have that, because if that is the kind of country you want, I promise you, step on board the Progressive Empowerment Party. We need your help. We need you as members. We need you as volunteers. We need you as team leaders. We need you as donors. We need money. And every time they tell you that we like to beg, that is the truth. We beg all the time. We need money. But we don't have no cocaine $100 million, $200 million financiers. We don't have no speculators giving us money so that when we get in the government, we can sell them public utilities. The Progressive Empowerment Party is disconnected from all the deep pocket financiers, and it is the only political movement in this country that could guarantee you, when we get into office, corruption ends.
If it is fabrication, these statements that they spoke, when you're voting, move them on, move them on. If it is demonstration, let's make you want to shout. When you're voting, move them on.
Before they just use out, thief out, sell out, and take out. All of the merchandise, including t-shirts that say Phillip will fix it, are on sale at Grab and Go. All of these polos that you see me wearing, the hoodies that you see me wearing, all of it. Citizens Union, Progressive Empowerment Party, Candlelight Movement, any and all of it that you want to wear proudly and say that I am part of the change are on sale at Victoria Foods Grab and Go 14 to 17 Park Street, Port of Spain. And we will have merchandise available at the Saturday meeting at Sinanan Street in San Fernando. Come out in your numbers. Start to show the people of Trinidad and Tobago that we have moved away from the contract mafia, that their stranglehold and their control of Trinidad and Tobago is over, that we are rising up as one people under one flag who are determined to deliver a better country to not only to ourselves, but our children and our grandchildren, to fix Trinidad and Tobago once and for all.
People must come first, citizens by right. None of the others, yellow, black or white. Who shall carry first? The movement and speech. I got that road and one love for each. If it is that injustice, it's what they always show. When you're voting, vote them up, vote them up.
If it is that avarice, greed, when you're voting, if it is their politics, it's just a puppy show. When elections day come, all bandit must go. All 41, red and yellow. Time to end it. You know you have never been represented properly. And to compare and to contrast based on things like skin color is not good enough. Look at your children and look at the country that you're leaving behind for them. We're singing these same songs since 1962. Come on. And to all the people who proudly saying from which country and which state in the United States they're viewing me from, I want to ask you, Trinbagonians who still love this country, to tonight look at the reality of where we as the Progressive Empowerment Party are. Help put us in office. Our army travels on its stomach. We need your help. We need to buy media time. We need to buy advertising time. We need to pay staff to operate the machinery so that we could get more done and we wouldn't be caught up in the pedestrian minutiae, which is what we do now. We need help. We need your financial help. And if you have escaped the plantation, and if you are living abroad in first world countries but missing home, if you are watching this video repeatedly because you think that Phillip Edward Alexander could really fix it, then please, Felicia Holder's number is 7694590. Message her now. Give us some help. Give us some continuous help. Commit to $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 a month. See us through to the election. See us through to victory. So when you come home, you can whine in the street and raise your flag and know that you were part of the change that made this country. I am asking you tonight, make this dream a reality. We need your help, financial help. We are an army of lions, but we're fighting thieves and demons who use media and... Anyway, there are more stuff that you will know. I want to tell you something. The one thing that everybody know for sure, that if you vote Phillip Alexander into office, not only will corruption end, the parliament and parliamentary privilege will be used to unmask all that has been done wrong to the people of this country from September 1st, 1962 to now. You will know the names of every white-collar criminal that has masqueraded as government minister, member of parliament, big businessman, all of them, and all of the chicanery and cahoots that they were involved in that looted Trinidad and Tobago. And you will know that in the parliament, as you will know the efforts that we are about to undertake to go after all of that money and bring it back home. We want our money back. If you believe that Phillip Alexander and the Progressive Empowerment Party is the way forward, please, we need your help. We need you to come on board. Please call Felicia Holder 7694590 and commit. We need your help. And also, those of you watching, in Trinidad and Tobago that know that you have the ability and you have the time, you were a little bit afraid because you're afraid victimization, come and stand up as a lion in an army of lions. We are a growing tsunami, a force for change. They don't dare interfere with our people. We are growing together, standing together. We will make sure and protect each other as we take ourselves out of the control of that contract mafia. Come and stand up with us. If you in your community thinks that you could contribute to the development of your community, if you'd like to be a counselor, if you'd like to be a candidate, if you would like to be part of the machinery of setting up that constituency so that when it is time to shift our constituency board of supervisors, you are already in place, please reach out to Satish Ramsaran. His number is 796-8172. And if you would like to be a donor and a regular contributor, you could call Sahai at 374-8747. And if you forget all of those numbers, but you want to get involved and help, and you want to reach out to me at 682-2110, please do. I am asking for billboards. We need billboards throughout the country. If you have a billboard that you could lend me, I know plenty of you all suffering and you're hearing me calling for billboards, and they will call me and tell me, I'll get you for a good price and thing. I want you to understand, the only good price I know is free. Help us. Invest in us. Invest in us. It is time the average person had a stake and a share in government where only a certain select class did before. We need your help. If you have digital billboards, please reach out. You could message Satish at 796-8172. We need that help. Yeah, I think that's about it. We need offices. Bamboo office, that's going to be opening in a couple of weeks. Pep Farms is going to be launched. It's happening right now. We're looking to break ground in a couple of months.